guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy December. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving for those of my American friends that celebrated last week. I am back today to share with you my favorite makeup products from the month of November. We're going to tackle this one just a little bit differently. I have, of course, the things that I've really loved, and then I have a couple things I want to give some updates on that weren't quite favorites or I have some conflicting thoughts on. I hope that you like lip products because there's definitely a lot of those. It should be a fun one. Before we get into all the products though, I want to give a special welcome to my new visitors here. Thanks for stopping by. Please consider subscribing and make sure that your notifications are turned on. And with that out of the way, let's get right to it. Okay, so why don't we start with the lip products? You may be wondering what I am wearing on my lips today. This very beautiful, bold December red. It is from Maybelline. It is the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in the shade Pioneer. So I have been on a sort of a hunt to discover some new go-to red lip products. For a long time, my very favorite ones were from Persona, but those are kind of being phased out. So I'm on the hunt to find a new liquid lipstick in some classic reds that I really love. I had tried out a couple shades of this product in more nude shades a long time ago. Now I only use liquid lipsticks when I'm doing a bold red lip. I want something that's going to be transfer proof, that's not going to fade off or rub off on my teeth. If I'm wearing something bold and red, I don't want to have to worry about those kind of mishaps that can happen when you have traditional red lipstick on. So I recently picked up these two shades right here, Pioneer, and then also this one, 335 Hustler. This one is more of a kind of deep brick red, whereas this is a blue-based bright red, the one I'm wearing today. I like them both. I really love this formula because it dries down to where it's not transfer proof, but I would say it dries down to like 95%. You are left with this very subtle, I don't know if tack is the right word, but you have a little bit of hydration that is left there so that the lipstick doesn't start to crack and break apart. I actually really love that in this formula, but again, it's not transfer proof. I think I've had mine on for about 15 minutes now and it doesn't transfer, but it still doesn't feel overly dry. They had a few more shades I wanted to pick up. I am still on the hunt for a dupe for my Hank and Henry. This is kind of more of a berry toned red. It's not quite as bold as this one, but I also wouldn't call it pink. It's a very unique color that I've been trying to find dupes for forever, and I have yet to find a perfect dupe. Might try and find like a combination, maybe, if I can pick up like a more pink shade, mix it with this brick red. I feel like that would get me close. By the way, the shade's called Petal Pusher. They don't make this anymore. I know I talk about it every fall, every winter, but in the meantime, if you're looking for a good classic kind of Christmassy bright cherry red, this one is perfect. Okay, speaking of cherry red, I ended up dipping into my Summer Friday Lip Butter Balm in cherry. Now I ordered the 3-pack of these during the Sephora sale, intending to gift 2 of them and keep one for myself. I tried out Pink Sugar. It's a fine lip balm. It's a basic, mostly clear, slightly pink. I mean, it goes with anything, but this one does have this beautiful cherry color that looks incredible on your lips. It is so pretty. So if you are going to pick one up, this is the one that I would recommend. It is a good cherry red as you would assume, but because it's a gloss, it has this like kind of sheerness to it that it looks like the perfect tint for your lips, and it gives the perfect amount of shine, the perfect amount of hydration and color, but it's an even color that looks very natural. It looks like you just ate like a cherry popsicle. It just makes your lips look like they're naturally cherry colored. It's really beautiful. I highly recommend this one. It does smell like cherries. I actually am not wild about the cherry scent. I don't really love artificial cherry like suckers and Jolly Ranchers and that kind of thing, so be aware of that, but it is a beautiful lip balm, very hydrating. These are really nice as far as they don't dry out your lips or wear off very quickly, or you don't feel like you need to apply them every 5 minutes. And if you like that kind of naturally berry colored lip, you're gonna love this color. One more lip product I wanted to mention is from e.l.f. and these are their Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pens. So I actually picked up 2 more shades after trying these out in my recent e.l.f. video. I'm obsessed with these. I think they are so fantastic. Now, I am new to this format of a lip product. I know there are other brands that make similar things. Is it Tarte that made the original kind of like clicky lip balm? I feel like I see them everywhere nowadays, but these are so good. They're very minty. They do have a relatively strong mint sensation. I wouldn't call it like a tingly sensation, but you really do feel the mint on your lips. But I love how comfortable these are. They're beautiful colors. Why can't I remember these so I don't put my glasses on every time I Look at these. Okay, Pinky Out and Bust a Mauve. I also picked up Toasted and I can't find it. It's got to be somewhere. It's probably hiding in my car somewhere in a jacket pocket somewhere. But I actually liked all three. In fact, I wanted, after trying these three shades out, most of the shades at my Walmart where I picked these up were out of stock, the darker shades. They did have like a cherry shade and a deep mauve shade I really want to go back and try, because these are actually quite light on my lips and I would love to try one that has like a stronger pigment to it, something along the lines of like this right here. But I've really been enjoying these. They've been in my bags or purses constantly since I first tried them out. In fact, I had to go dig them out to bring them down for this video. Just a really great formula. If you like a decent amount of color, something kind of new that's going to give a bit of shine and hydration and has that kind of minty feel, these are great. Okay, let's talk about a couple of cheek products. I wanted to mention my GXVE Check My Glow highlighter in the shade Platinum Cowgirl. This highlighter is really growing on me. It's a very interesting formula. It has more of a like slightly shimmery, very pigmented kind of powder quality to it, whereas most highlighters that I love are usually a lot more glowy and sheer as far as the color that is behind them. This one is like, and if you swatch it, you will see it's like a strongly light shimmery powder, almost more like an eyeshadow, but I love how this looks on the cheeks. Now this specific shade is only going to work for those of you with like a light to fair skin tone, but they do have two other shades as well. This is on sale right now for I believe $13 or $14 at Sephora. I definitely recommend it for that price tag. Full price, would I be as excited about this? I'm not super sure about that. If I had to pick between this and my Laura Mercier, I probably would still go with my Laura Mercier, but if you can get this on sale, it is a fantastic highlighter, especially for that price. I have a cream blush that I've been obsessed with for the last couple of weeks. This was sent to me by Persona several months ago, and I don't know why it took me so long to open this thing up. This is the shade Carmel in their blush cream. Now this is one of their OG shades in their powder blushes. They came out with this shade in the cream blush formula as well, which I love so much. And this is the perfect shade of blush. I love it. It is such a great nude pink. I know it looks very bold. These are very pigmented, but you do not need a lot of product and they blend out so quickly and easily. These are just such a great formula. And now, if there are some cream blushes that you find to be too greasy or sticky for your cheeks, I would recommend trying out this formula because it's not quite as emollient. It has a lot more pigment, so you don't need as much product. And it doesn't have the slip or the hydration or that kind of greasy feel that some formulas can have, which I don't mind, but I know there are some people that don't like that. So this is a much more forgiving for those of you that maybe have more oily skin or just don't like that feel on your cheeks. It really sets down nicely. And the color, more than anything, is just such a pretty natural pink. I am wearing it today. Okay, a couple more things from e.l.f. I wanted to share. First off, the e.l.f. Soap Brow. If you've been watching me for the last year, you guys will know I've been kind of on a soap brow kick. There are a lot of them that I really love, and most of them are super, super cheap. There was one from Essence that I tried out for a while that was discontinued, and then I found one on Amazon that was like $3 that I also love. This one is as good as any of those. I kind of feel like they all work about the same. They're basically just like a clear brick of soap, as this one right here. It doesn't even stay in the package, but it's super cheap. You can find this for like $4 or $5 at your drugstore. And I just love a soap brow for my specific brows. I have very stubborn brows. They do not like to stay upright, but I don't like the feel of anything that's too crunchy feeling or dries too hard on my brows. I want them to feel a little bit softer, but some brow gels that are more of like a moussey texture don't do enough to keep my brows upright. And I feel like this is a good middle ground. There's a learning curve to these, as I've mentioned several times. You have to be careful in how you wet your spoolie. You don't want your spoolie to be too wet or too dry. You basically, to apply these, you basically wet your spoolie and then kind of rub it in there. But if your spoolie is too wet, your brows are going to be too wet and they're going to have a difficult time staying upright. But if it's too dry, it's going to be a little bit clumpy and not work quite so well. So I basically just dampen my spoolie. I kind of rub the water, get the excess water out just with my fingers, and then I'll rub it into the product, brush it into my brows, and they stay upright all day long without feeling heavy or very crunchy in the way that some brow gels that would do that. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and they're super cheap. That's one of the things I love about brow soaps. You can find, they're all over the place. They all work about the same, and they're all under $5. I also have these two brushes from e.l.f. that I tried out recently, the Ultimate Blending, which I had owned before, and the Buffing Foundation. Now I actually like the Ultimate Blending for my foundation, and I like the Buffing Foundation, which is a little bit smaller, a little bit rounder, not quite so large or flat at the top. This is a fantastic cream bronzer. You could also use it for cream blush brush. It works so well for that. I've been using these for those purposes for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I love them. If you're looking for a good bargain brush, these are absolutely incredible. One more thing from e.l.f. I wanted to mention is the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. I prefer this setting spray to my Milk Makeup setting spray. Now, I do think formula-wise they're somewhat similar, but this is such a better deal, and you get so much more product. This has 2.7 ounces. This is the smaller of the Milk Makeup, and it includes 1.69 ounces. I love the sprayer on this so far. Very fine and misty. It does a great job of setting my makeup down. It gives it a little bit of hydration, but it's not greasy. At least not for me and my very dry skin. So if you've maybe been interested in something like this, but it's outside of your budget, give this one a try. Okay, I wanted to talk about a couple of foundations. So I mentioned last month the Easy Blur foundation, which I've really been enjoying. I still hold by that. This is a really good foundation. I did want to give an update on the primer. So I've been trying this primer out with a couple different foundations more recently. I don't think it's bad, but I don't know that it's doing anything amazing for my skin. I feel like the foundation itself gives me more of a blurring effect than the primer does. Now that is coming from someone that is kind of new to primers, so don't totally hold me to that. This does have fantastic reviews on Sephora's website, so clearly some people are noticing this is doing something great for them. But as much as I do like the Easy Blur foundation, I've been going back to my Superstay foundation. I think this has already been in 2 favorites videos. Well, let's make it a third today, you guys. I think this is the best foundation I have ever tried. I'm officially saying that. This is the most incredible foundation formula. It gives you the perfect medium to high medium coverage depending on how much you build up. It has a little bit of a, I don't know if you guys can see this one. This one's about half gone. I have 2 shades. This is 220 and then 180 and 118. So where this is kind of wearing out, you'll see this little line right here of like pearlescence. This foundation has the tiniest touch of a pearl in it that is almost undetectable, but I think it's what makes it look so attractive on your skin. It's not glittery, it's a very subtle pearl effect that gives you this beautiful, subtle glow that is unlike anything that I've ever tried. It's a glowy foundation that's not glowy in the way that something that has a lot of slip or hydration to it could be a greasy quality that's making it glow. It's the pearl that makes this glow. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but basically I'm thinking of something like the LYS foundation, which does have a good amount of a glow to it, but it's not a pearl. And it does work for me and my very dry skin, but I imagine if you have some oilier skin, this might be a no-go for you because it's too slippery on your skin. This is not glowy in a slippery way. It just is that beautiful subtle pearl effect that just makes your face look luminous in the most natural and beautiful way. Every time I put this on my skin, I'm amazed at how beautiful my skin looks. Honestly, I've never tried anything quite like this. It's very, very unique. I've tried a couple different skin tints over the last, especially the last couple of years since so many brands have come out with some, and there is nothing quite like this. It is the best foundation out there, in my opinion. There, I said it. Let's talk about a couple of eyeshadows. So last month I mentioned this little Coconut Dream palette from Relove by Revolution. I got this at Walmart for I think $3.98. This one, if you happen to see it at your Walmart, especially this specific quad, is incredible. I am wearing this on my eyes today. I had to go back and pick up another one. This is the Sweet Sunday one. These actually are kind of similar to each other. This is just like a slightly lighter, more peach version of this one. I'm kind of wearing them both on my eyes today. I have this shimmer on my inner corner, and it is such a great little palette. For $4, you cannot beat this at the drugstore. I'm sure the packaging will eventually break and wear out, but as far as performance, if you're just looking for something good and cheap, these are really great. I wish they had more shade options. I think they have 2 other ones. Both of them are very colorful, which I was not interested in, but these 2 are lovely. Let's move all the way down the pricing scale to the Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. So I'm not officially mentioning this in my favorites today, although I will say there are a couple shades in here that I would say are favorites for me, but the palette as a whole, I don't know that I would spend $69 on this again, partly because this color story just doesn't scream me. It's also a very high maintenance palette because some of these shades are very bold. You can get a lot of contrast, as I mentioned in my first impression of this palette, but also the shimmers, as much as I think they are stunning and beautiful, you have to be very careful when you apply these because they are intense. They're the type of shimmers that I have to grab something to put underneath my eyes because I don't ever do my eyes first. Otherwise, you're gonna get tons of fallout, and even later on in the day, some of this just like beautiful chunky shimmer can kind of fall down on your eyes if you overdo it. So it's just not the most natural kind of, I want to throw my makeup on in a couple of seconds and look effortlessly made up. It's not that kind of a palette. It's going to take a little bit of time to get these shades to kind of not be too stark or to look natural, unless you're really going for that. It's one that is, it's more of an artistic palette, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know, I'm over explaining it. And as much as I love these shimmers, these two in particular, they are stunning. I mean, they are so intense and foiled. They also are not the easiest to put on. You have to use your finger because they're such a like interesting foil texture that you really need your finger to get the shimmer to kind of like all blend together. If you do that, it's beautiful, but it just is, it's a little more difficult to work with than something like my $3 coconut dream palette from Walmart. So just be aware of that. That and knowing that it was $69, I mean, makes me a little more critical of something like this than something like these. With that, those are my favorite makeup products from the month of November. What did you guys love this past month? Maybe you had some old favorites that could just kind of got you through the month, or did you try anything new out during that kind of slide into Black Friday that starts like 3 weeks before technically Black Friday starts now? Let me know if you guys found some good things, some good deals. I hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully you're looking forward to December as much as I am. I'm in such a great Christmassy mood. I got my Christmas stuff up early this year, and honestly, I've never felt better. I'm doing it this way from now on. I'm sold on the Christmas before Thanksgiving. I never thought I would say that. But that is going to do it for today. Let me give you one last reminder to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Basic lip balm. It's a fine lip balm.